Good morning. My soul has taught me a lot of philosophy over the years, but we haven't done much on Aristotle. And we did Aristotle's golden mean because that's a very important part of Aristotle's philosophy, and a very important part when it comes to practical philosophy and applying philosophy to life is Aristotle's golden mean. But other than that, we haven't done much on Aristotle. Recently, I did a video on the doctrine of four causes, which I questioned this, and now we started on the Nicomachean ethics, or whatever you call it. Nicomachean ethics. We've started on book one of the Nicomachean ethics, and now when we started on the book one of Nicomachean ethics, I'm starting to wonder. Aristotle's probably right with his doctrine of four causes, but what's wrong is people's interpretation, the academic interpretation of Aristotle's doctrine of four causes, which is what I'm actually repudiating, not Aristotle's, but the interpretation of Aristotle. And why I say this is because now that I've started on the Nicomachean ethics, is the first thing is Eudaimonia does not equate to happiness, and this is a misconception. And as I say, when you're building a house, if you get the cornerstones off, the whole house is going to be off plumb. If your foundation's off plumb, your cornerstones are off plumb, then your whole house is going to be off plumb. It's going to be a complete shit show. So basically, like this whole premise that Aristotle's philosophy is the ultimate goal is happiness, this is a misconception, because people are then relating his philosophy to their abstract concept of happiness. And the happiness is the goal, and happiness is the goal. But eudaimonia, where I would agree that eudaimonia is the goal, yeah, but eudaimonia does not equate to happiness. Happiness is an abstract concept, and really most people's idea of happiness can only be fleeting at best. Like, for example, like I remember going through one stage in life where I was a bit like, well, what people would label as say depressed, but I would say I wouldn't have been as elated as I was at other times in life. But at the same time, it was a time of deep introspection, and a lot of deep introspection, integral work, you know. Yeah, but during this time, I remember saying to myself, what is happiness? What is happiness? And if I was to say, what is happiness? What is the point in life? What is the point that I was at? The absolute happiness. And what is the point that I'm now, say, what we might call my lowest ebb? It wasn't quite my lowest ebb, but it wasn't too far off. Yeah, so I said, well, the happiest point in my life would have been when I was in Ibiza at Tiesto, and I was taking a considerable amount of recreational drugs, and I was saying that no matter what you call, like, equate to happiness, like that, it is not possible. I was saying, I remember I made a video at the time and I said it's not physically possible to be any happier than I was at that present moment, because the oxytocin pump was bouncing off the revolumeter, the serotonin pump was bouncing off the revolumeter, the dopamine pump was bouncing off the revolumeter. Do you understand my point? It is not physically possible to be any happier than I was at that moment in time. And I was saying, like, but the question has to be asked: is this sustainable? Can the human body sustain this? And really, it can't. And like. How long is your engine going to last if you hop it off the rev limiter? No, it's going to blow. And after 4 days of this in Ibiza, 4 days of this, I could tell you, as Marcus Aurelius says, after a certain point, pleasures become punishments. After a certain point, pleasures become punishments, and this is very much true, because after 4 days, I could tell you I was suffering. I was suffering. And when I got home out of Ibiza, I kissed the ground and said I never want to go back to that shithole again. Jesus, I had enough. So my point is that this it's the same, like if you say to yourself, you know, just say you meet somebody and you have all again, the serotonin pumps happen after Evelyn, or the dopamine pumps happen after them, the oxytocin pumps happen after them, and it's what some people call love. But how sustainable is this feeling? It can only be sustainable for a certain period of time. And this is why I say people have again, like happiness, that love is an abstract concept, but my concept is completely different. Once you actually, like, if you say that love is all the emotions, then you can begin to have a different understanding of love, and one that equates to Nietzsche's will to power. Because as I say, like, as if the universe uses all the emotions to determine the nature of change, then this is love, all the colors, like all the colors. You know what I mean? As I say, the red, the green, the yellow, all the colours is what determine the nature of change. And if this is your concept of love, and yeah, then you can begin to understand why love is the answer. But then, well, well, one might say the father of all things, but Heraclitus said that's war. And I would agree with, yeah, but again, like, it's from a perception, like from a certain level of perception. If you understand the ambiguities of war, then you can begin to understand, yeah, love, and why the two go hand in hand as a binary opposite. This is an understanding of nature. But let's come back to eudaimonia. Eudaimonia actually means it actually, because I got a Greek person to say eudaimonia. What exactly does eudaimonia mean? To say in good spirits or with good spirits. As my mother used to say, it's very hard to translate English to Irish, and I'm sure it's the same when it comes to directly translate English to Irish, and I'm sure it's the very same when it comes to translating ancient Greek into English. But eudaimonia means in good spirits. That's what it means. Or getting on well with the spirits. And now I know exactly what eudaimonia means. It means that, like myself and my soul, we laugh, we joke, sometimes we fight. Like yesterday I was calling him names. But this is a very enjoyable way of being in the world, because you're sort of playing a game. Like, he pushes me one way and then pulls me another. But I'm very conscious of this. And this whole thing is part of the game and part of the theatre. But when you're conscious of the rules and how to play, it's theatre and it's a game simultaneously. But you play, and you're more or less like striving towards the one aim. As I said, we've agreed on what Aristotle would call the telos, is it? The telos, the objective, the end result. The telos, if my understanding is correct. I got that from Dr. Grease. She sent me a whole thing on Aristotle. But again, I would say that this is a misconception of Aristotle, and a misconception and a bastardization of Aristotle's work, in that she uses it to teach people how to speak. I remember, like, doing this speak to inspire um, course years ago with Brian Rose, London Real, and it teaches you how to speak, and it uses this concept of Aristotle, but I'd say they're wrong in this, because really what they're doing is teaching you how to be fake and how to emotionally manipulate people, but I don't really have time to go into this now, but I'm saying again, it's a misconception of Aristotle. And then, while we're on the subject of Aristotle, I'll wrap up by saying one more thing. That what is virtue, and who should we allow to tell us what virtue is? Should we allow to Christians whose construct does not match the concept? So basically they're absolute hypocrites, and should we allow them to tell us what a good man is? Or we can go Aristotle, and Aristotle's idea of what a good man is. Well, let's take his construct, which would be his protege, and that would be Alexander. So if we take Alexander as Aristotle's construct, then we could get some idea of what a good man is and what virtue is. And it's very different to what the academic hierarchy are misconstruing it as, what a good man is. All they're doing is imposing their morality. But I'll say they don't understand virtue, and they don't understand what a good man is. So that's two misconceptions at the foundation of Aristotle's ethics that are off. And I'm saying that we really, before we can begin to understand Aristotle and his ethics, we'd want to review those You, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, they're up for review. Our concept of eudaimonia and our concept of what a good man is and our concept of virtue. That's three different concepts that need to be questioned before you can even begin to understand Aristotle. Good morning, I may go.